Hello, I'm so excited to introduce you to Betsy Ronel. This is a delicious conversation about the law of attraction, our mutual love of brownies. I mean, who doesn't love brownies, right? Betsy's career as a successful real estate agent in Westchester, New York, grief after the love of her life transitioned unexpectedly at 45 years old, her recent discovery of Orangetheory and how she released 25 pounds using the law of attraction and liposuction. Listen, when you follow your inner guidance, you never know where your path is going to lead you. It's all good. And though Betsy didn't have the green light to announce it at the time of our interview, she is actually starring on a brand new dating reality show on Lifetime TV called 5 Guys a Week. Yes, that is the name, 5 Guys a Week, which airs July 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure when her particular episode is going to air, but I do know that in each episode, a single woman invites 5 eligible bachelors to move in with her home, for a week to see who might be a match. Sounds pretty dangerous to me, but seriously, this woman is full of surprises. She's fun to talk to, listen to, and learn from, especially in regard to how to apply the law of attraction to all aspects of your life quite masterfully, including body, fitness, business, and relationships. So let's just jump in. I can't wait for you to hear. Hi, Betsy.
Hi, Rhonda. So nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited to meet with you because this is the first time we're getting a chance to really get to know each other and chat. And thank you for being on the Delicious Alignment podcast. And
my pleasure.
I originally asked you because I heard that you mentioned that you released 25 pounds and you did it like with mindset and Abraham Hicks. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna we're just gonna talk and find out all the juicy details here.
Great.
And but mainly, of course, it's not necessarily all about that, all about like, oh, I lost 25 pounds, I lost 50 pounds, right? It's about living your life, loving your life, vibrational, keep raising that vibrational set point and feeling better and better and happier, and learning how to deal with the contrast as it comes up.
Yeah, no, this was a whole lifestyle shift for me. This was part of it. So it was a conscious choice. Yeah.
So I'd love to start out with your story. Just like think of it like a before and after story. I know you were telling me just before I pressed record that you really were, you never really had a problem with body image or anything like that before. And then, your 40s hit and you notice some things. So I'll let you tell your story. And if you don't mind, I'll interject if I have questions. So go ahead and tell me about you. Tell me about Betsy and your journey with all
Okay, great. Yeah. So like you were saying, when my 40s hit, I was literally probably 40, 41. No, I was 40. And my body started to change hormonally. You're getting older, and who knew the body would change? I mean, I had no idea. So, I couldn't eat a pint of ice cream anymore, and it wouldn't show, it would not leave me a couple of days later. It was staying. And I was, began to think, oh, I don't care. I'm fine. I had a neutral body image. I wasn't fat. I wasn't thin. I was just me, and I was healthy inside. And that's really the most important thing to me. And so I just continued eating my pints of ice cream, my pieces of cake, and, just enjoying my food like I always had. I was living in Santa Fe at the time. So beautiful Mexican food, or New Mexican food, I should say. Just, rich and delicious and very healthy too, but larger portions out west. And so we just got used to that. And I was fine, probably for 8 years. Then the pandemic hit. And as the pandemic was hitting, I began to think, gosh, I'm feeling like I'm carrying weight. I didn't feel, it wasn't a judgment. It was like, oh, you're fat. Oh, your clothes don't fit. No, I just kept getting larger sizes. I really didn't care. And you can ask anyone who's ever given me clothes, sold me clothes. Betsy does not care about the number inside the tag as long as it fits. I really don't care. I'm like, is it a 12? No, because a 12 in some labels is a 6 in another. Like the number in the clothes should not matter. It was more about how I felt, and I was feeling fine. But then I wasn't all of a sudden healthy. I went for a checkup. I was healthy inside, which again is the most important thing. But mentally, I was just like, I'm carrying weight. And it was obviously physical weight, but my husband had died when I was 40. And I feel like when you're a widow and you're grieving, I'll be grieving on some level or whatever for the rest of my life because I love him so much. But this was more than just physical weight and cake and cookies. It was an emotional release as well. And energetically, I didn't feel like that person anymore. So began the shift. So I just started to, I know how to eat well. My food is not my problem. I eat actually extremely clean and very well. But my body is made by chocolate. So I would just say, anything with chocolate, you give it to me, I will eat it. And I love it. I still love it. I posted on Facebook the other day, I was taking out all extra sugar from my diet this week. So fair warning. But anyway, but I love chocolate, like deeply respect it. And
deeply respect it. Yeah.
Deeply respect it. That's my relationship with chocolate. And this is a body by chocolate. So it was a release. I like that word that you said. I released 25 pounds. So I did. I began to release it. I began to really say, do you need the whole piece of cake? Like analyze, when are you satisfied? Like, is it 10 bites? Is it 2 bites? Are they 10 small bites? I actually began to analyze the way I ate and the feelings I felt while I was eating and ingesting and like chewing. I really actually broke it down. And this was a conscious choice, all about just feeling better. When I was...
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Did you know about Abraham Hicks yet? Or
I did 100%. So I have actually been an Aber, unbeknownst to me, law of attraction person since I was 18. And I have been, just thinking and unintentionally manifesting, but just thinking on the broad spectrum in a positive way since I was about 18 years old.
But so what you're saying is that you did not know about Abraham Hicks, but you were actually living that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when did you officially discover Abraham?
Yes. So my husband and I officially discovered Abraham Hicks probably when I was about 36 years old. So I'm 51. So whatever that math is, 15 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, and he was too. He was also a manifester, just law of attraction type of person, without knowing, wow, someone's out there teaching this. And then a friend of ours in Santa Fe was like, you guys think like this person who channels this, person, Abraham, and you should start reading about them. So we did. And we're like, oh my God, this is how we think. And so we just both got very into it. Yeah. And felt validated. We're like, no, we're not alone in this. So it was cool. Yeah. But it wasn't as intentional. So, but then we learned how to be intentional with it and, real tools and shifts to make. And just, we loved, the community and the books and just all of that. And he used to listen to it on CD in his car on the way to and from work, which was fun for him. Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, great. So I interrupted your story because I just wanted to know, like, because you said 18, but you realized you were doing that your whole life, pretty much 18. So tell me, go back to your story, like.
So again, so I began to just think very consciously, what do I want? This feels negative. This is a wobble. I now have learned to define it. I was having a wobble, and I then, thought to myself, okay, what is the shift I want to make? Wouldn't it be nice if, is what I was asking myself, wouldn't it be nice if I could feel better? Okay, great. So I'm going to start looking at all the ways in my life I can feel better. When do I feel like, perhaps gluttonous or is it just feeling more satisfied? And I can't sort of revert back to a video or something that Abraham has said, but it was just all in my mind. and just, all just in there vibing on itself. And that's what led me to change my lifestyle without punishment. There was no judgment. It was all negative free. It was all for good reason. Wouldn't it be nice if I felt better? And that's when it all started.
So, yeah. So what were some of the things, like for me, I can pinpoint, because I released 30 pounds, but I can pinpoint where I started to like slow down my thinking,
Yes.
like because before it was so unconscious, I was a binge eater in my 20s and 30s, and like serious binge eater in terms of, then I would get depressed about what I just did, and then the cycle would just go on. But when I got into all of this and started applying it to body and food, I would slow down my thinking and just, okay, what is it you're thinking right now? Because it was just so unconscious.
Yes.
I was beating myself up, but it was just so automated. And so I said, wait a minute, and I'm like saying, okay, you're saying to yourself, you're a failure. You're never going to lose weight. You're always going to be fat and, whatever, all that crap, right? That I would say, and I would slow it down and I would say, wait a minute, it's in the moment, even just having eaten that whole thing. Oh, wait a minute. It's okay. It's not about the food. It's about vibration. It's about your vibration. So how can you feel better right now?
Yes.
How can you feel better right now?
Yes.
And then, over time, I would start to not even, need that or do that anymore. It was a beating myself up that was making the cycle. So what were the things that, that you were saying to yourself, or you noticed that you were doing, like you said, you were analyzing your mind or whatever? Yeah.
Great question. Yeah, no, for me, I would go through the unconscious. It is, I want something sweet. Okay, we'll go ahead and eat the brownie. We don't need the whole brownie, And so I would start to slow down my mind. I would become very conscious in the kitchen. And I wasn't judging myself. So I didn't have, the negative, you idiot, you're so fat. It wasn't like that, which is, I talk to myself like that about other things. You idiot, when I make a mistake, not healthy. But, it wasn't that. It was just like, what are we doing now? Hold on. Why are we? Okay, it's fine. You want the brownie? No problem. That's great. But we want to enjoy the brownie. And so at what point are we not enjoying the brownie anymore? At what point is it unconscious, just eating it? So I just began to tune in and be very present, as Abe's always emphasizing, just be here and now. And I was here and now with every bite of the brownie. And after each bite, I would just pause and just feel it, enjoy it, wear it, let it just be all over me and in me, and just feeling good and all of those things from the first bite. Then I would have the second bite. Yeah, this is where I slowed it down. And then I would have the second bite, and I was like, still feeling really good. And so it was probably after the third bite that it wasn't feeling good anymore. Then it was coming from some kind of wobble, like you should finish this, or I can't even recall what it was, but it wasn't feeling good anymore. And so, like they say, if it doesn't feel good, don't be doing it. So that's when I began to put it down. Okay, you know what? The brownie is fine. After 3 bites, I felt really good. That was really pleasurable. This is not working for me now. We're going to put the brownie down. We'll save it for tomorrow. No problem. And so that's what I began to do, just little by little, moment by moment, craving to come to the kitchen by craving. It was literally slow and steady, and it worked. But I did have the help of liposuction. So I will say that I'm a big believer in all of that. And it's, it's just for me. And I think, so what happened was—
no judgment here, no judgment.
Yeah, no. I think it's a great thing. Whatever works for anyone. I don't care what works. Yeah, as long as it's healthy. So all of that slow process, as we know, it takes time. It's never instantaneous. We can wobble at any time, any given day. And of course I had my wobbles. Are you kidding? I would eat the whole brownie, often. But over 1 year, that was how I changed things, with that mindset. Like what feels good? When does it not feel good? And that's when we're stopping, because we're not eating out of pleasure anymore. This is not benefiting us anymore.
What's really wonderful, as you're speaking, telling that story about brownie,
Yeah.
I'm thinking how present you are, you know, to your food, to the brownie, to the chocolate, you know, in that situation. And, you know, I know there are a lot of people who are listening that may be like, oh gosh, well, you know, one brownie, what about eating the whole pan of the
Well,
brownies?
it starts with one. It starts with the first scoop out of the pan. I used to eat the pan too.
Yeah.
I get it. And my brownies are not this size. They were like these big ones, like half the size of your face. I'm not talking about a little lady brownie, guys. Like, I'm talking about a brownie. Not a bite size.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I was in there. Yes. Eating that tray, eating the raw dough, the batter. Like, are you kidding? Absolutely.
You know, I was in the supermarket the other day, and usually I still do this. I have to admit, like, you know, if my husband, he does most of the food shopping because I can't. I hate it. And I'm blessed that he likes to do it. We both work at home, so he goes out and he does. But if he brings home, like, you know, oh, well, it was 2 for 1, so he'll bring home 2 gallons of ice cream or 2, you know, Ben and Jerry's. And like, and I, you know, full self disclosure, I don't like that. I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. You know, I just don't want it.
Yeah, eat it.
But you know, I was out with him in the supermarket, and there were like Breyer's ice cream was 2 gallons, and it was like July 4th weekend, whatever. Buy one, get one free. So I bought like the 2, and I'm like, I'm gonna try an experiment and just see like how long this can last.
Good.
Well, there's 4 of us here. There's 4 of us here, but still, you know, ice creams. I love ice cream. So I just wanted to see, like, just doing like an experiment and see how I could, you know, just like be with the ice cream being in the house. And it was interesting because some of it is still in there and nobody's eating it. And I'm like, why is nobody eating this ice cream and getting rid? And I would have like a little bit, but it was just so wonderful to see that. Like, I could never have ice, like, no, because if it's there, I'm gonna, you know, that was the way it was in the past. And so it's just so wonderful to notice these little changes,
right,
you know, in your life.
That's right. And it's, you know, none of us, you know, probably most of us listening to this and all that are 20 anymore. And so our metabolisms are different and we just can't eat the way we once ate. And it's
but however, Betsy, that might be just, you know, devil's advocate, that might be a belief, right? Even though
right. Okay.
But it's your beliefs.
Right.
It's your, like, it's
my thinking. Yeah. And
yeah.
Right. Like for me, it was like, that was what I would say. Okay, you're not 20 anymore. Your metabolism doesn't just food doesn't zip right through you. Part of growing up is knowing where your body is now and accepting those changes. And it was hard for me. I was like, what do you mean I can't eat a pint of ice cream? Like, I want my pint of ice cream. And so I was eating it through my 40s. Like, I don't care. I'm going to eat my pint of ice cream. I'm fine.
I mean, my mother used to sit there on the recliner. She's transition and eat a pint of Haagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream every single night. Little tiny woman, no exercise.
Wow.
You know, it's like, how? I don't understand. But you see, it's like working with your beliefs is a good thing. Like Abraham talks about path of least resistance. Like, if you have a belief that, well, I'm getting older and I can't do that anymore, then it's probably in your best interest to work with those beliefs.
Yes.
You know, like, really, like, I'm working with a lot of women now, and they're saying, well, is it just because I'm getting older that I'm gaining weight, or that I've gained a little bit of weight, and I haven't changed anything about my food. I'm still eating the same. I used to be thin, and I just put on, you know, and do I just need to accept this? And like, and I think one particular friend, she asked, you know, who Viola is, right? Viola channels also, like Abraham Hicks channel, and like Esther channels Abraham. So Costa channels
Viola.
Viola,
Yeah.
and she asked Viola about it, and they're like, "Do you show your preference? If you have a preference,
Right.
if you have a preference to be smaller, yeah, it's no thing. It's no blanket statement like everyone who gets older, all women who get older have to, gain weight, and if you're not unhappy with that, but it's really
Right.
about our beliefs. So
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, that's why I continued to eat because I come from an all medical family, and a lot of us, believe it or not, like an old school traditional, but my family doesn't even realize they too believed in law of attraction. They don't even realize it, but a lot of them have transitioned. So they're probably learning about it now, like, oh my God, we really did. Okay. So, but it was never like, just science does show, your body does change, hormones change, and there is that, and that's okay. Like, we are, like your mom was a tiny woman. She was always tiny. She was just made tiny, and God love her. That's great. A lot of us are not. And so, our metabolism changes, maybe our mindset changes, our activity level changes, whatever. Change happens, and it's good. Like, it's fine. But it's like Viola was channeling. He was channeling Viola, saying, what is your preference? Like, my preference was to eat my ice cream and get a little rounder, and I really didn't care. I was like, I'm good. I'm happy, until I wasn't. And that's when my preference changed. And that's when I started to make a very conscious, day by day, situation by situation change in my thinking. And, does this please me? Does this feel good? That was really the mantra I went through every time I went in the kitchen. Does this feel good?
So would you say that that's basically, is there anything else that you did, or is that basically the thing? How you released 25 pounds?
That was really it. And with some liposuction.
I love it. And some liposuction.
Yeah.
Let's be unapologetic.
Yeah. No. I loved it. Because there really, medically, I'm not a doctor, but medically speaking, there really is something called stubborn fat. And it's probably based on human development over the gazillions of years we've developed. Probably there for, resources. Like, oh my God, this body is losing weight. Let me store something on there so they can stay warm in the winter, kind of thing. It's probably a primitive element of us, but men and women have it. And so I had lost 7 pounds, and I was like, oh, I feel great. And then I went to my plastic surgeon and I said, I've got the ring around the belly and some on my flanks, and I've got some, back fat from the boob going around the back. And I was like, I want to get rid of those things. And I've lost 7 pounds and I feel very good. And I'm comfortable with my eating now and where I am. And I don't intend to shift anything else, but I want to get rid of this remaining bit. She's like, absolutely. So she pulled out 6.6 pounds of chocolate. And I remember asking what was in the tubes. Is it brown? She's like, what? And I said, I want to know if it's all chocolate in there, because that's what that is.
You're made of chocolate.
Yeah. I am made of chocolate. That's why mosquitoes love me. I am sweet as chocolate. Anyway, I love chocolate, but I love ice cream too, believe me. But it also has chocolates in it. So, so that was it. So then I lost 14.6 pounds. And I was feeling great. But it's interesting, though, because it shows, and this is where I love law of attraction. I really was not unhappy. I didn't have a wobble in my body, in my appearance, the size of my clothes. Like, I never thought about that. And so when I had lost 14.6 pounds, that's a chunk of weight. And you're going down a couple of sizes in your clothes. And so I'd be wearing my same clothes. I didn't even think about it. And then my friend hadn't seen me in a couple of months. She's like, oh my God, what happened to you? I said, what do you mean? And then she goes, you lost a lot of weight. I said, oh yeah, I did. I've been losing it, over the year. And then, but it was so gradual, people didn't really notice, which is good, because it means I was integrating it. Like, I was integrating my practice. Like, does this feel good? That was really the mantra that set me free. Not set me free, but transitioned me into what made me feel good. Exactly. I wasn't set free because I was actually fine. I felt good the way I was. And so the mantra was, does this feel good? Okay. Does 10 bites feel good? If 10 bites feels good today, then you're going to eat the 10 bites. Like, I would eat until the sweets, until it didn't feel good anymore. And that was how I stopped it. But, she's like, you lost so much weight. And then that scared me. So I was like, oh my God, am I sick? Like, what's that? Like, it was so strange. Because it really came from an inward place. I wasn't trying to fit in a size 2 jeans. I wasn't trying to look like I did when I was 20. That wasn't it. I was just releasing a lot. And it was more than just food weight. It was what I had been through and, losing my husband. So for me, it was a release of many things. And, a lot of eating is related to psychology and trauma and emotions and holes that we have to fill in. We all have these struggles. Every single one of us, even models who are stick thin, they have to be that way. Every single one of us has struggles, and every single one of us, most of us have, stuff around food, whether we avoid food or whatever. We've all got stuff. It's part of the human condition. We all have stuff, and it's good. We all have contrast because it's from the contrast that we learn,
Yeah.
So
Except my husband. No.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I think, are you eating that? Yeah. Oh. And how do you feel about that? What do you mean?
Great. Yeah.
He's just like eats.
Yeah.
When he's hungry, and he's, it's just like so natural. Like over the years, just like noticing, like, how do you, and you're gonna eat that ice cream, and how, and you don't feel any guilt or anything. This is when I was, feeling all those negative emotions and judging and everything, criticizing. And he said, "Oh, no, I'm what? No, just like enjoy it." Just so natural. Learning from him and is interesting. So I really love what you said about just your mantra is, does this feel good? What a wonderful way to live life, period, in all areas, right?
Yeah.
Does this feel good?
Yeah, agree. And I'm learning that now career-wise, through our Mallison method and everything. So I applied that to about eating and physicality, but now I'm learning that to career and life choices and what am I doing today choices, things like that. So I'm applying that to everything, but it really started with the food because I was not feeling good inside. This body was no longer representing what was going on inside. And that's when the shift happened.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, how is it helping you now with because you are a real estate agent? Are you a luxury real estate agent, or?
I do it all. In my mind, real estate is a luxury to whomever is buying it. It's a wonderful thing to have a roof over our heads. There are people in this country, unfortunately, who don't. And so to me, all real estate is a luxury at any price point. So to me, I am a luxury agent and I sell in all price points, and I love all price points, and I love all buyers and sellers. So, but yeah, it was a whole thing. So as I was releasing this weight, I was representing the inside with releasing the weight. And so so that release also made me release one brokerage that I didn't know I was unhappy at. And then I was, and then another brokerage approached me and I realized, wow, like they opened the door to something I never even knew would have existed. So and then I realized, God, I really am unhappy at this current brokerage. Let me leave and let me go to this new brokerage. Then the new brokerage was so great and so exciting and fun. But then I began to have a wobble there. And so I was, after 2 years, but I loved the brokerage as a whole so much. There was no way I would ever have thought of leaving. But then something happened locally in my local office. And it was like, I think the universe was like saying, no, this is so not for you, even though it's for you because it's shiny, it's exciting, it's sexy, it's beautiful. This is fun for you because I'm a Capricorn and I like shiny, beautiful things. But inside, I'm also a Capricorn, so I'm grounded and down to earth and purposeful. And it's got to be, I don't know, it's all got to mean something. Somehow the two were not connecting, and the universe was like, you getting out of here now. And it was like, it threw me out of the brokerage. It was crazy. And I was like, what? Wait, what happened? It was so weird. And so that furthered my inward, outward contrast and balance journey. And now I'm at a brokerage that is the perfect melding of the bright and shiny and like the old classic, which is where I was. It's the perfect combination of the two. And I'm like totally just neutral, even, relaxed every day. And it feels good. And I didn't know.
wonderful example of how, how the universe is, or source, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever, whatever works for you is orchestrating things for you on your behalf.
I was so in love with this second brokerage. I was like drinking the Kool-Aid, wearing it, I loved it. I had no idea it was such a mismatch. But when I look back, my energy was so off. And so at that brokerage is where I met Gina. And that's when I began to really look at things in a more detailed sort of Abraham Hicks law of attraction way. Like I knew about it, of course, but in my own loose, unpracticed way. And it guided me through my life unknowingly and then knowingly. But then with Gina, it was like, all right, let's bring up the wobbles. Let's talk about these contrasts. Let's do this. And so it was through my working with her that I left the second brokerage that I thought I was so in love with. And I am. It's an amazing company. I love the company. It just wasn't the right fit for me energetically. It was too much of a contrast that I was completely unaware of. And so working with her helped me realize that. And then I left that brokerage. It was a very weird string of events, but again, it was like source, the universe was saying, no, I'm sorry. We have such a different direction for you. Bam, you're out of there. And that's how it happened. It was like life.
So to just mention a few of the things that you said, so our listeners can know what we're talking about. So
yes.
Gina Mallison created the Mallison method. That's a method that I use in my coaching to help people shift negative energy and negative thoughts and about any topic, not just body image and food. And I help people just really transform their lives with that. So you are also now in the training of the Mallison method. That's how you and I met. But previous to that, you were a private client of Gina's when she was doing private coaching, which she's no longer doing. She's teaching us groups now.
Correct.
How to do the Mallison method. And you're learning how to do this method. And I would imagine, like a lot of people that come into the program, not necessarily, oh, I'm going to be a coach or I'm going to be a practitioner. It's like enriching your life.
That's right.
So you were getting this private coaching from her, and that's what helped you make this transition, as well as what was going on around you actually giving you some clear signs. Yes. But because you were getting this coaching, you were able to, and let me know if I have this right.
Yeah, of course.
You were able to follow the your own inner guidance and just like change brokerages. So is that all accurate?
Yes, 100%. But it was so interesting because, again, like law of attraction, the universe, a month before I left, I came home we had a retreat. It was an amazing retreat. Like this was like nirvana for brokers. I mean, I'm sorry. I was so in love with this company, and an amazing retreat. And I met agents from all over the country in our company. And I came home from the retreat. I was so high from the retreat. It was all like, talk about good vibes. Like it was good, high vibing everywhere. It was so awesome. And I was taking the garbage out with my son, and all of a sudden I started crying. And he's like, why are you crying, Mom? What's wrong? You miss Daddy? Because that's usually the only thing that makes you cry. I was like, I love Daddy. No, but this isn't about Daddy now. I said, I'm just really unhappy locally in my local office. I don't know what to do. I feel trapped. And so, my kids have grown up with me talking to them about this kind of thing, but not classifying it sort of under the Mallison method now and having these calibrations. I had no idea about the calibrations that you do, Rhonda, and that Gina, is teaching us all. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to calibrate this with Gina at my next session. But there was a huge wobble. Come a month later, I was gone from the brokerage. It was time to go. But I was like, I can't, I just love the company so much. I'm not leaving. I love it. My son said, well, Mom, it looks like you need to really think about that because it doesn't feel good to you.
Don't you love that when they start to?
Yeah, my parents
regurgitate it back to you.
Yep. Both my sons are like that. I have a 19-year-old and a I don't know if you can hear my parrot. She thought that was very funny too. Anyway, silly bird. So, but they have grown up with this. Their father, thought this way. I have always thought this way. And, now my younger son, who's still home with me, sees I'm on these calls every day in the summer because he's home, and they listen, they listen. Yeah. And I think it's a wonderful thing to teach anybody.
If you've been thinking about coaching with me and how it could help you transform your relationship with your body and with your food, and yes, even release weight if that's something you desire, or if you'd like help with anxiety, depression, self-confidence, even money or health or anything really, now may be the perfect time for you to book a coaching package with me or a single session to try it out. My coaching packages will be going up $100 effective August 1st. These packages expire after 1 year, though I do recommend weekly sessions for the first 3 months of coaching to build momentum toward feeling better and raising your vibrational set point on any topic. I offer 2 types of coaching. The first type of coaching is law of attraction coaching based on the 5 steps in my book. The second type of coaching includes law of attraction coaching plus calibrations using Gina Mallison's Mallison method. One thing I want to say is this is not a diet program. We've had enough of those, right? Our focus in your sessions is always to help you feel better emotionally and float up the vibrational scale. You will find that as I calibrate you to feeling better and as you practice alignment during the week, you might be guided to a certain food plan or certain physical activities, and it will be different than all those other times because it will be from inspiration and not from trying to force things. Imagine being inspired to do the things you've been wanting to do for years. On the flip side, imagine watching the behavior you don't like falling away without much efforting at all, without a big struggle. This is the way the law of attraction works. I know, like me, you were probably taught that things need to be difficult in order to make progress, but that simply is not true. There is an easier way, and I want to share this process with you. Go to deliciousalignment.com/coaching to find out more, or to book your coaching sessions with me if this is resonating with you now. Are you a visual learner? If you are, you will enjoy the video version of my book, Delicious Alignment: How 25 Women Learn to Love and Transform Their Bodies Using Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction. This online course includes video lessons for 5 weeks, covering the 5-step program from my book. These 5 steps help you learn how to love your body, your food, and your life. The 5 steps are: Step 1, get off the scale and get in alignment. Step 2, start a love affair with your body. Step 3, create a new story. Step 4, make friends with food. And Step 5, build momentum toward the body and life you want. There are 20 videos in total, and the course also includes the audios and transcripts of part 1 of my book, plus journal exercises to help you integrate the material. Simply go to deliciousalignment.com/online-course to find out more, or find the link in the show notes. Great. So Betsy, I remember before we started recording, you were telling me a little bit about your experience with exercise and working out. So I wanted to just explore that a little bit more. Tell me your story about that.
Sure. Okay. So I had built up a story. I don't even know why and when it started, that I hated sweating. I hated sweating, just the feeling of it. It's like I have like a sweaty crown, I guess, like right here. And the feeling of that, like, just hurt me. I don't know what it was. And like, I'm not like a smelly sweater. I don't know what my problem is with sweat. But I built up this story for so many years, like since I became a professional adult. So like in my 20s, all the way up until I started working out again. I hate to sweat. Oh, I hate to sweat. Oh, I'd rather do anything than sweat. I used to say, I'm never going to work out. I'd rather drink concrete than drink cement than work out. That's what I used to say. So strange, weird analogy, but that's what I used to say. And so I did not work out because of this story I had put in my head. I mean, like, very strange. Anyways, I don't know why. I was averse to sweating. And when working out, I didn't mind sweating like in the summer heat or whatever, but like to work out and sweat like that was, I don't know, was it scary to me? I really don't know what it was, what the story I had was. and then when I began the weight loss, of course my doctor was like, I'd like, you are middle-aged now, and I'd like you to make sure your cardio's good. I mean, my blood tests were all good and everything was healthy. But she said, we just want to, you're a sole parent. You still have children who depend on you, and want to make sure you're healthy. So would you mind doing some cardio? And I was like, I'm not working out. I'm not doing cardio. I hate working out. And, this went on. I had a battle. I love my doctor, but I had a battle with her for a long time. She's like, you really need to start. I'm not saying, become a triathlete. Just would you walk around the block? And I was like, no, not walking around the block. And so whatever, I was like a child arguing with his parents. So, but then with the conscious shift about the eating and just the releasing, my very best friend has a condition, and it's an uncommon condition. It's a very loose branch of Parkinson's. So she's totally functional and everything, but she can't jump and she can't stand on her tippy toes because it's a muscle degenerative disease. And so it started with that. And she goes to Orangetheory, and this girl works out like a fiend. And she goes to Zumba. She goes to like hard Zumba. She goes to Orangetheory, which is a very challenging workout. She lifts weights with her weight trainer. Like, she does everything. She's so motivated. She'll get up at 5 a.m. to slick in a Zumba class. And she will say it herself, she's still overweight because she loves to eat. She just it feels good. The eating for her feels good. She is fine that she's overweight, and she works out for the other reasons, to keep her muscles healthy. So so she's quite happy. So I'm like, I don't care. I have no judgment. My best friend, I love her, thin, heavy, I really don't care what she looks like. And, but we talk about food a lot. And because she's like, you know what I had for dinner? I was like, what? Oh my God, delicious. And I said, now I would have just 2 bites. And she's like, well, I ate the whole thing. I was like, I know. And you probably loved every bite of it. She said, I certainly did. So she loves to eat. And that's her thing. That's like her pleasure in her life, is to eat food. But she does, work out a lot. That's amazing. She works out at least every day, at least 1 hour every single day. And it's like not light, 2-pound weights. It's like real working out. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, Betsy, if I can do all this, given the honest medical struggle she has, there is no reason why you can't hop on the treadmill. Like, you're afraid to sweat. Let's just get over it. Like, she's just like that. She's very black and white. She's like, do it. Don't do it. She doesn't know about law of attraction, not into it. That's fine. And so I was like, all right. She goes, just go for me 1 class. Please go to Orangetheory for 1 class, just 1 for me. I was like, all right, for you, I'll do it. So that was my motivation. And it felt good to do it for her. I was like, let me see what she's talking about all the time. Let's see how great this is. And it's not great. I know I'm going to hate it. I loved Orangetheory. And what I loved about it was it's very much, you're very present. It's about you, what feels good. No one is looking at you. You have people who are extremely overweight that have lost 200 pounds. They're still 300 pounds. They're on that treadmill. They're lifting weights. You have everyone from them all the way across to the triathlete, who's like a supreme athlete. And then you got all of us in the middle. So, and nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares what the heavier guy is doing. Nobody cares what the triathlete's doing. Nobody cares what Tom, Dick, and Jane are doing, all the average people like us in there. Nobody cares. Everyone's literally, no pun intended, running their own race. And so the instructors, the coaches give you a guideline like, do this, do that. But they always stress, and I love this, we say these things, but you do what feels good for you. Doesn't feel good for you to run at a 9, which I have never done, then you run what feels good. Measure it for you.
Where we're all on the treadmill, like in a group?
Correct. The Orangetheory classes go in groups, so you'll do like
groups. Okay.
Yeah, there's different groups. So you've got three things: treads, rowers, and then weights, and then they move the groups around. It's really well constructed. And they play really great music, so it's like, again, high vibes in there, like great music. Everyone's feeling good. But what I noticed, at least in my studio, is there are a few people who know each other and chit chat, but everyone's very like grounding themselves before. It's not like, hey, how you doing? How's your kids? Because I take Pilates too. And because I have scoliosis, so I do that for my back. Okay, there's my bird.
All right, you're quiet.
Yeah, she's
no problem.
No, she's funny. And so, so I do Pilates for my back, but in that class, everyone's chit chatting. How's your kids? How's your summer? It's light. In Orangetheory, it's such a mindset. Everyone's grounding themselves before the class, and it's very like Zen, very meditative. And again, we've got the guy who is a tremendous weight loss case, which is great. And we've got the triathlete, and we've got all of us in the middle. So we're all there together, communal. It's like a great communal consciousness. And we're there supporting every single one of us. So like the coach will yell out, Joe, you're doing great. We're all clapping or woohoo, whatever. If our hands aren't free, we're all in there together. And it's like one like mind in the room. And I love that. So that to me is very much law of attraction as well. And if it feels good.
How would you say that is law of attraction? How did law of attraction play into that, do you think?
Because I feel that it's that mindset. I probably shouldn't be saying law of attraction. I mean, it is though. To me, it's the mindset. It's like
you attracted, like, just from my perspective, a friend who she was the messenger, so to speak, and the law of attraction, if you want to look at it like that, right, orchestrated it for you so that this is something you had a desire, maybe you had a desire, but you just what do you think? No, attraction played into that.
You're 100% right, because I had the desire. I wanted to work out. I wanted to run and like do all these things I see everyone else doing, but I had this story with sweat in my head.
You don't want to sweat.
Yeah, I was like, I am not sweating. I mean, what would happen if I sweat? I mean, it was so, I don't know where this came from. And again, I was a kid athlete. So like I sweated my whole life. Like I don't know what happened to me, but this was a story I really cemented into my head. I will not sweat. Not in daily life, but I will not sweat working out. I don't know what I don't know what happened.
You know what? And maybe this is just because I'm not working out hard enough, but I feel like I don't sweat.
Some people don't sweat. I'll tell you.
Sweat.
No, I mean,
if I'm out in 90 degrees weather,
of course.
But like, it really takes a lot for me to sweat.
Yeah, no, and that's like Marlo.
I don't want you to be, I don't want you to be.
No. But people, so it's very interesting you say that, because people are different. And I was never a big sweater. Like I had never had an issue about it. But then I put something in my head. I was like, oh, the minute I feel it starting, like I'm going to crumble. But Marlo, she's a huge sweater. The minute she lifts a finger, she'll start sweating. And she loves it. Can you hear that parrot? No, she's
I can hear your parrot.
Is that annoying? Should we stop and then shut the door?
No. We're almost, actually, I think we could start wrapping up, but does your parrot speak words or?
A few. It's like a toddler language. Like, how only you know what your toddler's, it's like that. I only know what she's
saying. Yeah. So now you go.
So I go to Orangetheory. So I try Orangetheory. But it's interesting. So here's law of attraction too. It needed to feel good, because again, that's like my mantra. And now I'm starting to put it in other places in my life through the Mallison method. But that was my unintentional discovery. Does it feel good? So I started at this, 1 second. Rainbow. Shh. All right. Sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
She's so silly. So, she's quiet, hopefully. So I went to one Orangetheory class, and the exercises were great, but the energy didn't feel good in that studio. I was like, I don't know, feels kind of judgy. It feels kind of, I don't like the coaches, just didn't feel good. So I went home and I told Marla, I was like, I went, I loved the class, but I didn't really like the energy in the class. She's like, oh, and she knows me and energy. So she's like, all right, there's another studio, right nearby. Go to that one next. I was like, all right, fine. I'll go to that one next. Fell in love. That's the one I switched to and go to, and that's my studio. This is the one where I'm saying everyone gets grounded. It's a group effort. We're high-fiving each other. It's very supportive.
So does the group leader take time for everyone to get that's part of the group experience?
No, it's just unintentional. I think it just happened. They watch our it's just this studio. It's interesting. And I go to different I've gone to different hours and different classes there, but it seems like this studio attracts that. And the coaches are like high vibe, high energy people, but they're also grounded and centered people. It's very interesting. And then, before each class starts, the coaches are like, okay, everybody dial in. Like, where are you? How are you feeling? How's your body? What is your personal, goal today? Are you feeling great? You're not feeling, where are you? Do you? Like, do your best, do what feels good to you. So they do that in the studio before every class, which I like. All the
I've been hearing a lot of really good things about that.
I love it.
So
that's helped me. It's helped me lose, not lose, but maintain the weight. And then again, I just began just through the conscious eating. I lost, so we were at 14.6 pounds. I lost another 10 or so pounds just through continued conscious eating. And am I a skinny mini? No, I'm me, still round around the edges and, looking healthy, but feeling really good.
Oh, you look amazing.
Thank you.
And I mean, I know you've got some exciting things coming up and that we really can't talk about right now, but maybe later on we can talk about it. Because it's exciting and it's something that you're not ready to announce publicly, but so just tell me, how can people find you? Or I mean, you're a real estate agent, so we didn't even say where. I know I say that in the intro, but where do you live? Where do you do your real estate agent business?
So I'm a born and bred New Yorker, and I do sell real estate, residential real estate in Westchester County, New York. And I love it, with Coldwell Banker. I love it.
I didn't tell you this, or maybe you figured it out, or maybe I'm from Queens originally.
Yes. Yep. No, I remember I heard that once. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. But and you lived in Manhattan for a little.
Yep. I went to school in the city, college. I went to high school in the city. I went to college in the city. And then I had my fashion career in the city. And then we got married and we moved out to Santa Fe, New Mexico for a really long time, which is another Aber community. So yeah, I've been doing this.
Tell me a little bit about what you did in the fashion industry.
Oh, so I was a publicist for luxury brands. Like my last job was, I was the director of the women's division for Barney's before it went sort of sadly downhill, when it was still in its heyday. That was my last job, director of publicity for the women's division at Barney's.
So did you have your own business, or you worked for agencies?
No, I always worked for agencies or for a corporation, things like that. Yeah, I did not have my own company. No, I didn't want my own company. I also don't want my own brokerage. It's too much hassle. I'd rather work for someone else. Yeah.
So what an exciting, plethora of careers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Really. It's fun. I mean, I've really, and it's what's interesting. And I think a lot of people maybe listening to this might realize they may be into law of attraction or Abraham without even knowing it. And then finding him through you and finding and doing the work that you do. They may have been practicing this unintentionally their whole lives, which is what I realized I was doing.
Well, isn't it funny? Like I do have friends like that where if I explain to them Abraham Hicks or anything about that, they're not interested. But I look at the way that they think and the way they live their lives, and I'm like, you're living your life that way.
Exactly.
They are creating. They're so positive, and they're they may not believe that they're creating their own reality and everything that's happening around, but they are definitely putting energy and positive energy. Just this one woman in particular, she's just so I don't know what it's more like positive thinking, I guess you could say, but she is living it. She's living it. Not interested in knowing about it. But anything else you want to share with everyone before we close up, like just a few tips, not necessarily like food or diet, but mental energy, law of attraction, meditation, anything else that's helped you?
I mean, meditation helps. It's hard to quiet one's mind because it can be, people think it's scary in there, and sometimes it is scary. But it's like, that's why for me, there's two simple things. Does it feel good? And yes, eating a whole tray of, I'm going back to the food, eating a whole tray of brownies does feel good. But then if you have guilt,
maybe it feels good.
Right.
Maybe it makes you feel sick, but
exactly.
Yeah.
For me, it felt great. I felt great until it didn't. Because then I had guilt afterwards, or it just added on. And then I started to feel weighted down, and it was more of the psychology and just whatever, was time for life shift. So yeah, I would say the two mantras that I live by are, does it feel good?
Mm.
And does it really feel like, honestly feel good? Like,
Yeah.
yes, would it feel good to punch that bad driver in the face? 100%. Would I ever do it? No, I would never do it. In my fantasy mind, it would feel good, but I would never hurt someone. Like if there's a crazy driver, you're like, you know what, you should be punched in the face. I would never get out of my car and punch anyone in the face, but the thought of it feels good. So it's like, so you can't go gangbusters with does it feel good? Yes, I'm going to do illegal things because that's going to feel good. Come on. If it does, then you need more than just coaching. You need to be a psychiatrist, in a mental institution. But so, I don't mean that as like a gateway to do whatever you want. Does it feel good? It does, but does it really feel good? Like it's a whole thing. Like, does it really feel good on all the channels and all the levels? Does it feel good? So that was something I started to live by. Now I'm starting to live by, wouldn't it be nice if? So that's how I'm shifting. Like I'll have a contrast like, oh gosh, I really wanted that listing. I'm so happy my friend got it, but gosh, I really want it. If we were up for the same listing, I'm just making a real estate example. And then I say, wouldn't it be nice if I got something similar? And then I've changed my whole focus. So it's like, I'm happy for my friend who got it, but I also want one like it. Wouldn't it be nice if I got one like that or the equivalent or whatever? So it's those two things. Does it feel good? And I mean that deep down inside, does it feel good? And that is not a license to do bad things, the illegal things. And just so we know, because we can take that so far. Well, I wanted to, whatever, hurt that person. It felt good. They stepped on my toe. No, we're not talking about that. And then wouldn't it be nice if? Those are the two things that work for me, and they may work for me now. They may not work for me in 6 months. So I try to find for me guides of mantras and in meditation too that work for me. And that's also a constant shift. And so they work as long as they're going to work. And then we move to finding the next one that's going to work in the next shift that we're going through.
I love that. I love that so much. Of course, wouldn't it be nice is from the Asking It Is Given book by Abraham Hicks, one of the 21 or 22 processes in there.
Right. You're right. You're right about somewhere right there.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful thing to do so you see an agent selling this house, and wouldn't it be nice if, I love that because it just really softens it. Like for me, with all the practitioners and the Mallison method, like seeing someone they're doing really great. They're getting all these clients. And then instead of, what's wrong with me? Why am I, like I remember when I started doing that, like, oh, well, it's okay. Like I'm happy for them. Wouldn't it be nice if, and then there's just like things get easier and not being attached to the results, just not being attached. Cause that's where things get screwy when you're like, wouldn't it be nice if I released, 20 pounds, and that softens it instead of I've got to.
I'm so fat. Right. No, I'm so gross. Somebody likes me. I've got to lose. No, wouldn't it be nice if? Okay, let's start exploring that. And that's how it comes to fruition. Because it's softness, it's less black and white, and it's less harsh, and it's less hurtful, to us.
Softens it. You're not attached. You're not attached. And I love another one I've been doing lately is, I don't care. I don't care if it happens or not. And it's like, okay, well, is that true? Do you really care? But when it works, just playing around with it. Or I care, but not that much. That's what
exactly.
Someone I interviewed, Zara Mahoon says, I care, but not that much. And that's just right. So we just want to keep softening it. So the thing about weight loss, like, just imagine softening that, because most of the people, I talk to, work with, it's like, okay, I want to lose weight. Help me lose weight. And well, this is really about your mind and your energy and your vibration and learning how to softening all of this, so you're not so attached to the results.
Right.
And the whole thing about, does this feel good? I love, these are amazing takeaways, by the way. Yeah. So like, does this feel good? That is a wonderful way to live your life, because, should I take this job? Well, does this feel good? I mean, we just moved furniture. I had a couch in here, and we moved the couch into the bedroom. And I'm like, well, should the bed go over here? I mean, should the couch go over here, or should it go over there? And I'm like, well, really, functionally, it should go over there. But I'm like, does it feel good?
Right.
Does it? No.
That's right.
Feel good over there. It feels good over there. So it's just like, even start practicing with the little things, like taking a bite of food. Like,
yes.
I'm eating this, maybe it's barbecue potato chips. That's I love barbecue. So it's like, okay, oh, it feels good. The first few bites feel
Right.
good. And then after that, does it feel good? No, it's just like starting to actually make me feel sick. So
and we all go through that. Like, and also if you think about it, in our country, we are so overserved with portions. So Americans are used to ridiculously sized portions. We're just conditioned that way. So it's like you go to Europe and you're like, what's this sliver of cake? Is that going to be enough? Like, that's what I always used to think. Oh my God, it's a very small piece. But it turns out I was good, and on to the next thing. So it's unfortunately, it's our culture conditions us to always want more and more and more. But that's where the does it feel good thing comes in with the food. Was like, I started to analyze, and everybody, it was a brownie the size of half my face. So it was not those bites. Like, I don't even bother with those. Like, I just like, what is that? That's child's play. I don't even buy those. I buy the real thing, or I make my own, or I buy like Whole Foods. To me, has these amazing rich brownies, and they're really large, and I love.
I love the. Do you like the the ends? I love
it all. No, I love it. Yeah. Like, I love the whole pan. No joke. Like, I'm a former pan here.
Yeah, me too.
All good. Sit down with that thing and the batter before it.
And a glass of milk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, and not even, no, because that takes up space. Like, I just wanted the brownie. I am a straight shot there with that. Like, hard tequila, hard brownie. Like, that's me.
Let's get real. So, okay. So does it feel good?
And start to analyze, because when you think about it, if you go back to like eating the last, maybe non-healthy, non-nutritious thing you ate, which we all do you need the whole piece of cake? Really? No, because after a few bites, you start to lose the taste. You start to lose the pleasure. You're just eating out of, autopilot. And so that's where the break started for me, was really analyzing bite 1, bite 2, bite 3. And it was always around bite 3. Sometimes it would be bite 4, but it was always around there that I'd be like, all right, I'm full. Like, I'm good. Yeah. And so this is done.
Well, for me, it was more like an escapism, and I talk about this probably in every single podcast episode. So it was like, it was just like, okay, I don't want to feel these uncomfortable emotions that I'm feeling. I don't want, I'm talking about the past, right?
Yes,
20s and 30s, and I would just want to sit here and watch TV and eat this food. It just gets total unconscious, not even tasting the food anymore, right?
Right.
But it's just like, like my dad was an alcoholic. Well, I guess, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic is what they say. Who knows? But he's sober now. He lives with us. But, alcohol just didn't do it for me.
Right.
So it was like the food that I used. But now I have all these amazing tools to actually feel my emotions. I don't have to be I can use the Mallison method. I can get calibration, which is the same thing actually. And, I can do many, many different, there's all these processes and asking it. So I have many tools, and I have learned how to, feel my emotions and not be so afraid of them.
Exactly.
Emotions, even negative emotions, are not the enemy. I know that now. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
It's the beautiful thing. And what's interesting? I had a therapist for a very long time after my husband died. She's my therapist before my husband died, but she was with me obviously through all of that. And she used to say, an emotion is a wave. Let it pass right over you. You're still standing. Let it just pass over you. Not going to take you down. Let it pass over you. It's a wave. It's there, and then let it go. And then the next one, it's there, let it wash over you. You're still standing. It's not going to kill you.
And even this past July 4th weekend, I didn't make any plans, because I just didn't. I, came back from a trip. I had no plans. And I thought, oh, goody, I'm just going to do whatever the heck I want, and catch up at home and do things, with my husband. But I felt like I was feeling sorry for myself that I had no plans. But in the past, that would have gone into this whole thing. But it was like, okay, I have tools, and I got, like you said, I allowed myself, it's okay. It's okay. I'm feeling a little low. It's okay. I'm feeling a little sorry for myself. It's not the end of the world. What can I do
No.
to feel better? But I kept saying, what can I do to feel better? What can I do? And like, I was like, I don't want to do anything. There's nothing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get call up and get a calibration. I don't want to, I just want to be miserable for, not like miserable, but just like but it's just so different. It never goes down as low as it for me. And
Yes.
it was like Tuesday was like, bam, I got on the call, our weekly call.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I am rocking it. And then it's like, that was yesterday, right? Or no,
Yes.
Wednesday. I
Yeah.
got 3 new clients yesterday.
That's right. You wrote about that. Amazing.
I shifted my energy. I didn't like let myself, I didn't go down that low like I used to go.
Yep.
I shifted my energy, and I just like bam, bam, bam. I'm like, what the heck just happened?
Exactly. And that's the whole point. Like, that's what Jean always talks about, right? She's like, it's always an improvement. We're never going to go down to that low again,
Yes.
because it's just subtle shifts. It's subtle improvement. And, life is not linear. Weight loss is not linear. Any journey is not linear. Otherwise, it would be kind of boring. Like, okay, we want this, we've got it. Oh, what's next? Like, no, there's got to be waves and curves and ups and downs. Like, that's how it goes. And to ride those waves is what life is about. And we have our group, we have tools, and you as a coach are giving your clients tools to ride those waves and know that the lows are not going to be the lows. They're going to be the lows.
That's what it is. Like, it's like, oh, well, what can I get? Like, I was talking to somebody yesterday. What can I get out of coaching with you after those, 10 sessions, 5 sessions, 10 sessions? What will I get? It's like
a lot.
You're
a lot, lady.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, okay, what do your energy, we're talking about energy and vibration. Your vibrational set point will be raised, right? So you're maybe used to living at this vibration. So your vibration is going to get higher, and where you cannot tolerate, like I could not tolerate being at that lower vibration this past weekend. Like I was like, I can't, I don't, but you know what? I'm just going to be okay. I'm just going to feel these emotions. I don't have to eat over them, like really like overeat. I mean, I enjoyed barbecue, but I didn't have to go on a crazy binge or anything. I just allowed myself to feel the emotions, knowing, like you said, this is going to pass.
Yes.
And it did. So what you're going to get is your vibrational set point is going to be raised. Whereas maybe you're over here, down on the living more in this vibration, and now you're going to like be living in a higher vibration. And when you do have a little bit of a low, it's not going to go as low.
No.
I mean, that's gold right there.
100%. And what you're giving people, your clients, is, for us, I'm just using food as an example. Food was a way of control. Okay, well, you know what? The world sucks. I'm going to eat this pint of ice cream because I can do that. I'm choosing to do that in front of the TV. I mean, but what you're doing is you're saying, hold on, the ice cream's there. I'm giving you another set of tools to control what you can, which is your vibration, your feeling, your low point. So, we don't maybe need the ice cream as much because we're going to use the tools Rhonda's given us, and we're going to change our vibration. We're going to feel our feelings, but we're going to be okay with it because we have these tools that Rhonda's given us. So you're giving people another way to not control, but to feel good, to feel empowered.
Yeah. And to with this particular tool, it's just raising your, like you might be feeling frustrated, and then just like moving up the emotional scale to feeling, I mean, gosh, the emotions that we calibrate to.
Yes.
Like I was just calibrating the other day. I had a calibration. I calibrated to this blissful state where I had all these music, like I just had this vision of all these like beautiful music notes. They were just floating all over in front of me. And it was just like this magical, but I actually felt the feeling of bliss in my body. I felt it. So it's
Yes.
like, oh, now I really know what that feels like.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so we could talk about that for
Oh
another
yeah. But
hour.
that's what you do as a coach. So when people ask you that, you're like, I'm going to give you access to bliss, people, because they aren't used to allowing that. Like, we don't know how to get there, but you're giving them the channels to get there, like feeling things they've never felt or haven't felt in years. That's what you're doing as a coach.
Yeah. And like another time just chapping into like, why do we want to lose weight? Why do people? Because we think, why do we want anything? Because we think we're going to be happier once we get it. So we want to feel that emotion, right? But the calibrations, you actually feel, you get to feel these emotions now. And the feelings come first before the manifestation. Feelings first. So you get to train yourself to feel in real time, feel these emotions now. And I remember having this one calibration where I was feeling like beauty, like, oh my God, I am so beautiful. And all my life I want to lose weight because I want to feel beautiful, right? I want to feel sexier. I want to feel more attractive, right? And because in my mind, that's how I'm going to do it. But in the calibration, like, just, I felt it. Like, I felt it.
Yeah.
Okay. So just now, you experienced it viscerally.
Yes.
So now you can go around in your life like going, I know what that feels like, or I can even tap into that now if I wanted to. I can tap into that now.
Yes. And that's exactly it. So that's how we start to ask ourselves, does this feel good? I know what good feels like. Does this feel good? Maybe not. And that's how the shift starts to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does this feel good?
Yeah.
That's the name of the podcast. Does this feel good? Well, I'll figure it out. Well, Betsy, I want to let you go so you can go about your day, your next appointment, or whatever you got going on. But thank you so much.
Thank you. It was perfect. This was so fun. What a great way to spend time this morning.
Yes. Great. Yes. Right. Thank you. Really good.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'll see you on the calls.
Okay.
Bye.
Here are the 10 takeaways from this interview. Number 1, start changing your mindset by practicing being in the moment. 2, slow down your thoughts so you can hear the things you're actually saying to yourself. 3, when you choose a thought over and over again, it eventually becomes a belief. 4, identifying your beliefs around food and your body can help you understand why you might be stuck. 5, remember, the emotion comes first, then the manifestation. You need to be a vibrational match to the thing you want before you can attract it. 6, following your inner guidance is as simple as asking, does this feel good to me or not? 7, pay attention to the emotions you're feeling while eating. Notice when you feel satisfied. 8, soften any resistance by playing the Abraham Hicks "Wouldn't It Be Nice If" game. This game can be found in the book titled Ask and It Is Given. Don't worry about how and when it's going to happen. Become detached to the outcome and focus on feeling good, and watch how the things you desire come to you with more ease. And 10, the universe is orchestrating things in your favor, even when it doesn't look like it. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Betsy Ronel. You can connect with Betsy at her website, betsyronel.com, and on Facebook at facebook.com/BetsyRonelRealtor, and on Instagram at betsyronel.realestate. Make sure to join me and thousands of other delicious aligners in my Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/delicious-alignment. Again, find all these links mentioned in this podcast at delicious-alignment.com/podcast. Also, I want to let you know that I've got wonderful guests lined up for you in the coming months with people who have used the law of attraction to love their bodies and finally discover food freedom. My next interview is with a woman who had a great deal of momentum around food restriction from years of trying every diet in the book so she could try and get her health back. She will share her journey about learning how to tune back in and listen to her body and follow her inner guidance. Do you know someone who could benefit from the Delicious Alignment message? If so, please help me spread the word by sharing this podcast on Instagram, posting on Facebook, or texting the link deliciousalignment.com/podcast to a friend who might benefit from getting in on this conversation. Thanks again for listening. I love hearing how this podcast is making a difference in your life. Till next time.